if you've been in business in 2025, you know that marketing has been a challenge. We had social media ads, SEO running, we had direct mail running. We're seeing our overall return get less. We're spending the same amount of money, maybe spending more, but we're actually selling less. So what are we doing about that? We got creative. I reduced the cost almost 50%, and we're still producing relatively the same result. Do more of what's working and cut everything else. The problem is the marketing reduces the money. That's the last thing we really should cut. It's scary to send $10,000 out into the ether and hope that it brings you back $30,000, $40,000, $50,000. We also cut those out and we only focused on the things that are working. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Die Hard Entrepreneur Stories. I am your host, Devin Ramos, and today I'm going to do something a little bit different. I want to talk to you about marketing, and I'm going to have a little bit more of a candid conversation. Let me know if this is helpful. Let me know if this is something you like. Now, if you've been in business in 2025, you know that marketing has been a challenge. And if you've been in business prior to 2025, you probably have something to compare your marketing to. And if you're like me, you're saying that it has got more difficult this year than the prior years. So when we talk about first what I'm seeing, what we're seeing on our end, and now this isn't for every industry or every market. This is just for us specifically. So right now I own a real estate company, and the gist of how we make money is we purchase off-market real estate directly from sellers, and then we turn around and sell it. Sometimes we sell to other investors. Sometimes we flip those houses. Sometimes we refinance them and rent them out. Sometimes we don't refinance them and rent them out. There's several different ways, but the way that business actually works is by providing a value to the customer through the acquisition of that property, and then providing value to another customer through the sale of that property or some other service like the rent, so to speak. Okay, so we use a lot of marketing to attract our customers, both on the acquisition side, not so much on the sell side, but we also do a little bit on the sell side as well. I also own a cleaning company, and we provide primarily residential cleaning services. Our bread and butter is our recurring residential cleaning services. So you can think of a professional cleaning service that is on a recurring basis, sort of like a subscription. You have them come to your house once a week, twice a month, twice a week, whichever you prefer. And we have a service that we provide for that house to get it cleaned. So we also use a significant amount of marketing to attract customers in that company as well. And here's what I've seen. By and large, this year, we've seen the costs of marketing go up. So our ads have gone up. Our cost for materials like direct mail, postcards, letters have gone up. Supplies have gone up. And we've also seen the actual cost of our marketing. So think of it as we're spending X amount of dollars and we're hoping to make back X amount of dollars. So let's say we spend $100 on marketing. We're hoping to make like $500 back. That's just how marketing works, and you're able to continually scale, right? Well, what we're seeing now is, let's say we spend $100 in marketing, we might make back $300 or $250. So we're seeing our overall return get less as well. And then the third thing we're seeing is a decrease in conversions, and what seems to be, from looking at our metrics, a decrease in lead quality. So a couple things are happening here. When we think about a lead that comes in, a prospective customer, this is somebody who's interested in our services, whether it's selling their home or buying our cleaning services. And the quality of that lead, we'll say, is based on how much they actually want to purchase, their actual intent to purchase, and how likely they are to follow through. Are they somebody that our ad did a very good job catching their attention and they really have no desire at all, but they really like the ad, so it sparked up a conversation, and we're potentially wasting their time or potentially wasting our time? Or is this somebody that's like, yes, I needed cleaning services and this is the exact timing and this is the exact service that I want and this is the exact price point and everything like that. And it makes it more easy for them to say yes. So when we talk about quality, we want more of the latter, less of the former. Well, we've been getting a lot of the former, again, both in the real estate company and in our cleaning company. And so what that's led to is a couple things. Now, when you think about the quality going down, we're overall doing less sales. So we're spending the same amount of money, maybe spending more, but we're actually selling less. So not only is our return down, but like we overall have less money because there's less conversions. Now, in addition to that, having those lower conversions really does two things. We're making less money, but also we're exhausting more effort, because here's what's also happening. Let's say we have to talk to 10 people who show interest in one of our services, and before one of them says yes. Okay. Well, now what's happening is that quality is going down and our conversions are getting higher. We might have to talk to 15 customers or 20 customers, which you might think, oh, that's no big deal, except for now when we have a sales representative that we're compensating, they're potentially exhausting more effort, spending more time. If they're on commission, that's not a good thing. Not a good thing for morale, not a good thing for them. If they're not on commission, it's not a good thing for us because we're paying them. So we're paying for time where there's not a result that's impacting the business for the better that's happening. They're just simply having to spend more time to get what they were getting before. And so that can add expense to the company and can burn people out and all in all, just not good things. Okay. So these are the three biggest things that we've seen trying to theme it out this year. So what are we doing about them? Marketing, materials, and costs overall going up. What are we doing about that? Well, this is largely dependent on the marketing channel, but without going too deep into that, let's just talk materials. So one of the things that we've been doing is direct mail. We've done direct mail for a while. When I first started out, the particular postcard we sent for our real estate company, like the primary main direct mail that we're always sending out at all times, was I believe 8.5 by 11, so half sheet of paper, right? That postcard cost me somewhere around 50 cents when I first started back in 2022. It has slowly become 54 cents, 55 cents, 57 cents. And I think the last point it hit it might have been 57 cents, 57, 59 cents. Okay. Doesn't seem like a big deal until you understand that we're sending like tens of thousands of these out. So it adds up fairly quickly. The cents matters for sure. We don't want to stop sending direct mail. Direct mail works. It's just becoming more and more expensive, and we're still producing relatively the same result. So the same amount of dollars on the backside we're producing, but now it's costing us more to get there. And so for us, we said, hey, let's go to cost. So a couple things that we tried. The first was like shared marketing. Okay. We said, can we sell ad space? So basically trying to subsidize some of the marketing. It worked a little bit. I didn't push it super hard. I wasn't really a big fan of it, honestly, because you're giving something up. You're giving up ad space. So we have our postcard that we want to look a certain way. And now we're basically selling ad space on it and advertising for somebody else. So it might work. I think for like a cleaning company, a roofing company, it might work a little better. Oddly enough, we didn't really have a need to try that in our cleaning company. We did something else that I'll get into, but I think it would work fairly well. That's my hypothesis. I would, of course, test that. But for a real estate company, it just wasn't worth the squeeze. But what we did do was we happened to connect with another brilliant gentleman. I can't take the credit for this, who had worked very hard to build a relationship with a print shop to get our costs down. So a couple big things happened. This print shop was willing to do it for less money, but then also you have the cost of mail. And when we send our postcards out, we send them out first class mail. You would think if a first class stamp is 54 cents, 57 cents, whatever it is, that's the bottom. Well, we found out that's not the bottom. You actually, in fact, can get postage for cheaper. So somehow we're getting postage for somewhere around, I think like 20, 21 cents, maybe 25 cents. I don't know. Somewhere around there, first class postage. Yes, it's possible. We're doing it. And now I'm sending our new mailers out, same traditional mailer from before, at 27 cents. So I reduced the cost almost 50%. Pretty dang close, 50%. That was huge. That's if I'm sending out $5,000 worth of direct mail every month because it's creeped up, just as a for instance, now that 5,000 has become $2,500. So we got creative. That's one thing we're doing. The other thing is with direct mail that we did was we tried to look into other avenues, right? So the principle here is like other avenues, like how can you still get mail out in different ways? USPS has a type of mail called EDD, Every Door Direct Mail. And what that is basically they can get mail out more efficiently if they do it over like a saturated area. So maybe like a neighborhood or like a dense area. So typically when we send out direct mail, we're looking at sending it out to a person very specifically, like somebody that would make a good prospect for us, somebody we think we could help. That's not going to be every house on the street. We don't just send mail to everybody like that. But Every Door Direct Mail does. So it's a little different. It works very well for our cleaning company because typically we clean in neighborhoods where they want those services. A cleaning service is something that people want more frequently and more consistently than like selling your house. You know, think about how many times in your life you actually want to sell your house to somebody like me, because that's a situation that you're in and it would benefit you. Like some people will go an entire lifetime and never encounter that situation. Whereas somebody who needs cleaning services from a company that's going to stand by their quality and do all the things that you want, make you feel really good about your house, like most people have that point at some point in their life. So thus it made more sense to just send direct mail to an entire like neighborhood. And when we do that, it costs us significantly less as well than if we were to try to do it very targeted and only select certain people. So that helped there. Now, I know I've talked a lot about direct mail, but what else have we done? Well, we looked into agencies that can help us decrease our ad spend or outsourcing things. That's the other thing. So the first thing is when you take like PPC, for instance, we do pay-per-click. You're bidding on words. So ultimately, what determines how much those words cost, what they cost, what determines how much you spend is like which words are being bid on. So just consulting different agencies to figure out like if that is the most efficient way to go about it. And then second to that is what are they doing and can we learn what they're doing so that we can do that stuff in-house. We did some of this with our SEO with the cleaning company. I pay for SEO in our real estate company, but then I can take those principles and apply it to our cleaning company. And we've been able to do that successfully as well. So that's helped cut some costs as well there, because the last thing you want to do, and this is always the knee-jerk reaction that we have, and I'm sure you do too, but when things get tight, we want to cut marketing. The problem is the marketing is what produces the money. And so that's the last thing we really should cut. We should cut our comfort, cut our building costs, cut our utilities. Like I'm a fan of that. Cut all that stuff first. Don't cut marketing, but we want to go to marketing because it's scary. It's scary to send $10,000 out into the ether and hope that it brings you back $30,000, $40,000, $50,000. It's still scary for me this day. The amount just gets more and more, but it doesn't necessarily get less scary, so to speak. So those are some of the things we've done there. So what about the second thing I mentioned, the overall lower return on what we're spending? Okay, so very similar to the first one, what we're looking at is, let's say before we're spending $3 and we're making $10 off of it. Now we're spending $3 and we're making maybe $8 off of it. So we've had to do a couple things for this one. The first is niche down on what's working, reduce our cost for that actual marketing channel through the outsourcing, through some of the stuff that I was talking about on the first thing. And then additionally, look to do more, we're more selective. So do more of what's working and cut everything else. So to give you an example for this, last year with the real estate company, we were doing, as we closed out the year, we had just stopped running social media ads. We had our SEO running, we had direct mail running, we had PPL, we had a couple referral campaigns out going. And basically when we looked at everything and we said, where are we putting our money? that's actually worth the time. There are really two things that stuck out to us. One of them was very high effort. The other one was less effort, but more money. And those two things were actually door knocking and direct mail. And so we cut everything else. Now, we were still doing deals from everything but SEO. Our SEO wasn't working very well from everything else. But when we looked at like, hey, we used to spend $5 and we used to make 15 off of this thing. Now we're spending $5 and we're making 8. We just said it's not worth the effort. Let's take that effort and let's put it on more of the stuff that's still producing, $5, $6, $7 for every $1 we spend. And again, that was door knocking and that was direct mail. Now, over time, that's shifted throughout the year. And where it's left us is we completely cut door knocking out and we're focused very heavily on our SEO, and our digital marketing, getting into PPC and direct mail. And it just so happens that those two things together have been working with each other to help each other out. So there's some things that happen, like for instance, somebody gets a piece of direct mail and they search your name. And if you're also being very thoughtful about what people are searching and you're paying attention to the fact that people are searching, you can make sure that that's happening more consistently. When that happens on a search engine like Google, especially Google, because they're pretty much the only search engine that matters, it likes it. So then it has this effect where it produces your stuff more and then it gets searched more and then it produces it more and it helps you what's called rank a little bit better. So that's just one example there. But doing things like that have helped us as well. But ultimately, really what it was the things that weren't working, we cut those out for sure right away. But the things that were kind of mediocre, we also cut those out and we only focused on the things that are working. Now, what has that done for the company? Big picture, we're producing less deals, but our margin that had compressed at the end of last year has now stayed the same. So in terms of like a business model and the financial landscape and where I'm looking moving forward, now I'm trying to figure out how can we do more volume, but at least I feel safe here because I know that when we're actually doing work, we're making profit back and we're not doing all this work just to break even. So that's kind of where that's left me there. Getting into the third one, the overall lower conversion rates, man. So very similar. And as I talk about this, I'm thinking about how all these things play together. And we've sort of, the strategies that we've implemented kind of play on each one of these things. So what I mean by that is when we're talking about cutting our marketing, one of the reasons I stopped doing door knocking was because of the conversions. The conversions were so low. We had to knock so many doors just to get somebody that actually had some sort of interest. And then we had to have so many conversations with so many people and so many conversations would fall through before we'd finally get somebody who's like, yeah, like we need your help and we need your help now. And then it actually like paid off for us. And so in the grand scheme of things, it didn't really cost us too much other than a little bit of labor and some materials. It was very minor, but it cost us a lot of time. And so when we thought about, hey, where could we be spending that time? It just did not seem worth it to keep knocking more and more and more and more doors. It just wasn't very efficient. Point number 3, with our conversions going up and our lead quality going down, what have we done about it? Well, one of the things is cut some of those strategies. And next to that, what can we do about worse leads? We've done a couple things up front. Try to get a little bit better on our screening, so get a little bit faster. I have been forced to a point where there are just some people in the real estate company specifically where after like a discretionary look in conversation and understanding what they really need, I have to tell them, hey, I'm not the person to help you, which has been different. It hasn't happened years prior. The thing is if I don't do that and I string them along hoping that something's going to come from it, all I'm doing is wasting their time and I'm wasting my time, because now this is another person I have on the hook for another appointment or for a look at their house or for something else when I could be spending my time actually serving the people that really do need me. This has never been the case because our lead quality has been high because of the way that we send out our marketing. We don't get a lot of people that respond to us, and the people that do respond to us are people that really need us historically. Well, in 2025, for the real estate company, that hasn't been the case because you have several people out there that can't sell their house. The problem is those people are out there and they don't need to sell their house. They basically have two options. Take a loss because of the way the market is, take a loss or stay in the house and don't move. And quite frankly, I will help them if they want to sell it and take a loss, but most of them choose to just stay put because they don't have to move. They want to move, but they don't have to move. Whereas 3-4 years ago, that wasn't the case. And so we wouldn't run into those situations. So overall, the way I screen them, the way we have the conversations, that has had to change. And then the other thing is our what we call targeting and marketing. So who it is that we're trying to market to, we're trying to appeal to. So as a for instance, with our cleaning company, there is a certain type of like profile or person that wants to buy our cleaning services. So first and foremost, you got to have a house that needs cleaned, right? Like if you're not living in a house that you want cleaned or needs cleaned, like why are we even talking? If you're living in a camper or something like that, we don't clean campers. So that does, we don't apply. So thinking through it that way, they're at a certain point in life. There's a certain level of trust that they're willing to have for us to let us in their house. Some people aren't willing to do that. They probably don't fit our profile, and that's fine. But thinking through that profile and trying to tighten it up has helped us get better quality as well. So when we're marketing, we want to consider who is it we're marketing to? What is the messaging that we're sending to them? What are the compelling words that we're using to try to get them to understand the value that we're bringing to them? What does that look like? And then the third thing is, how are we getting that to them? Like what sort of marketing channel, or like how are we presenting it to them? Like all those things matter. So we're just thinking through those things slightly differently. So we covered quite a bit there. I hope you found it valuable. If you have, let me know, leave me a comment, subscribe to the page, or most importantly, tell somebody who you think could benefit from this information about this podcast or YouTube video if you've seen it. That's all I have for now. Until next time, we'll see you.